Sis, welcome to today's Big Brother 19 updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Alan Houston. Alan, thank you so much for the sweet message. I really appreciate it. And thank you so much for the support too. You're awesome. And if you guys want to be house guest of the day like Alan, check out our Patreon link in the info box below. All right, so the feeds went down for about 3 hours last night for the Power of Veto competition. And because we are down to 7 people, that means there was only one sitting out. And that would be Josh. You played yourself. Oh, I'm so sick of them saying that all the time. It's done, okay? He moved on from Meatball, apparently. I've only heard that sporadically in the past 2 weeks or so. And now it's just, you played yourself, homie. Okay, but anyway, he didn't even really get to host, I don't think, because there was a guest host. Bobby Moynihan from SNL was in the house. He's got a new show on CBS, and he's actually a Big Brother fan, so that's really fun. But he was hosting, and I don't know what this competition was exactly. It sounded like it involved questions. It also involved them getting kicked in the butt. It kind of sounds like, you know that game Bop It? Or like the one where you have to remember the order of the colors. What is that, like Simon Says or whatever? Like that. I don't know. I think they were like abused in some sort of order, like slapped and kicked. And then maybe Big Brother was like, what was the 4th action or something like that? That's what it sounds like to me, but I don't know for sure. But they were all wearing fun outfits with plaid shirts and weird shorts and suspenders. So that was fun. And bow ties. It seems like a lot of fun. Everybody was saying it was a fun competition, so we'll see. I always love when they have a guest host come in, especially like somebody who's not involved in the show. I think it's funnier. Anyway, after the competition, oh yeah, Paul won. I did not even write that in my notes. I was so excited about Bobby Moynihan. Paul won the Power Veto competition. I was going to say HOH. So Alex and Paul were in the storage room, and Paul was like, hey Alex, I'm going to pull you off the block. Is that cool? And she's just like, it doesn't matter, you know, I trust you guys, it's gonna be fine. So she says as long as Paul pulls off one of them, it's all good. She says that Kevin's going no matter what. She's excited. Me! Okay, so Paul is saying, yeah, for sure Kevin's going, but he'd prefer to use the veto on Alex this week because he says if Kevin is up on the block against Jason, then he won't be bugging Jason all week for his vote. Also, Paul wants Jason to go this week. Sorry, I just had something stuck in my throat. So then, Alex and Jason were chatting in the storage room, and Jason's like, so what do you think Paul's gonna do with that veto? And Alex is like, well, we already talked about it. It's fine. She says, we can use it on you if you're really freaking out. That's what Paul wants you to think. I don't see him actually using the veto on Jason. So then, she's like, but Kevin's gonna campaign way less against you on the block than he would if he was up against me. So keep that in mind. And Jason's like, I don't care, but I'm nervous as shit. You should care, and you should be nervous because you are in trouble here. Girl, you in danger. So Alex is like, it's fine. We can blow up on Kevin after the Power Veto ceremony, and then everybody will want him out for sure. Can we just like get rid of this shitty strategy because it was never good, okay? Never enjoyed watching that. So anyway, she thinks that Kevin's gonna have a meltdown when Paul uses the veto on one of them and he goes up, and she's ready to capitalize on that. So then Jason's asking, should he talk to Paul about the veto and possibly using it on him? And then he's like, nah, never mind. I'll just leave it up to you guys. I trust you. No! This has totally been the season of leaving it up to somebody else. And usually that person has been Paul. So Alex is like, just assume for now that I'm the one getting pulled off. I'll keep you updated. Alright, so then they're talking. Alex is already looking ahead to the next HOH competition. I mean, this is actually a rewind for her because, let's be real, she's really just thinking about those jury votes and she's just moving back to thinking about the next HOH. So she's like, we need to throw it. Somebody else needs to take out Raven so that we don't lose her jury vote. You think you still got Raven's jury vote? Did you forget what happened last week when you lied to them and then didn't use the veto and got rid of Matt? Because I think she's going to be a little bit upset about that still. But whatever. So Jason's like, I don't know. It's really dangerous to be on the block at this point. I don't feel good about throwing more competitions. And Alex is like, I know. After this, we'll never be on the block again. Well, you can't be on the block if you're in the jury house. Am I right? So then she's saying, Paul owes me one. You know, we're getting it out of the week this way. We're not going to be on the block again. Okay, so Alex reveals to Jason that she threw the power veto competition to Paul so that he could be safe too. Just leave now. I can't believe that people are still throwing competitions at this point in the season. It is insanity. So again, Jason is saying, I don't want to throw stuff anymore. And Alex is like, we have to. We just have to do it for one more week, and then we can go crazy in the competitions. All right, let's move on. So it looks like Josh is still waking up from his Paul trance. He was talking to the cameras at one point last night, and he's like, you know what? I don't see myself winning this game. Me neither. But he said he's been taking all the heat for everything this season, and Paul, especially this week, is just thinking about the jury votes for himself, and he doesn't seem to care about Josh or Christmas's game. Why should he? But I see what Josh is saying. You know, he's realizing this is not fair. Paul is really setting himself up here, and he's leaving the rest of his alliance in the dust. So he's thinking about these votes, especially because Paul wants to split the votes this week so that Paul will still be cool with Jason and Alex, and then Josh and Christmas are going to look like a-holes to them. So he's not happy about that. So Raven joins Josh in the rose bedroom. I was listening to that. Okay, I wanted to hear more of what Josh had to say, but she kind of broke that up. So then Raven all last night was like, I haven't won a single competition, but I did win Matthew. Great. What a victory. So then Paul comes in and they discuss who should go this week. And Paul all along has been saying that Jason should go. But now he's saying he's torn because he's realizing Jason is really not that great of a competitor. He says, yeah, Jason's good at endurance, but he doesn't think they're going to have any more endurance competitions like that. I feel like the first part of the final HOH is usually endurance, no? But whatever. So he says Alex is better at physical and mental competitions, so she's more of a threat. So then, of course, Alex walks in as they're talking about her. She didn't know. And Paul is like, Kevin told me that he wants me to keep the nominations the same and for you to go. So Alex is like, just use the veto on me. Jason will understand. And it's the same reasons we've already heard. You know, it would keep Kevin from campaigning as hard, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So then Alex leaves, and Paul, Josh, and Raven resume their conversation. And it seems like Paul is definitely feeling more threatened by Alex at this point. So Josh is like, I don't know. I still want Jason out first because he feels like Jason is going to pair up with Kevin if Alex goes. And Paul says, who cares? Kevin and Jason both suck. Woo! Confident. Okay, so then Paul is saying, again, he's worried that Alex could beat him in competitions and Jason will not. So then they're like, Raven, what do you think? Nothing? No. Raven just parrots what Paul says. Big surprise there. And she gives the same freaking reasons. And this is really pissing Paul off because Paul spent a lot of last night when he was not hustling talking crap about Raven and saying he can't deal with it anymore. And she just says exactly what he says. She's telling all these lies about herself. He's over it. So then, later, Paul and Alex were discussing Jason in the Apple Lounge, and Paul's like, so Jason thought that we were involved in him going up on the block this week? And Alex is like, what? Jason is just getting paranoid. He even thought for a split second that you weren't going to use the veto and you're just going to leave knobs the same. And Paul's like, I'm going to use the veto. Chill. So Paul is saying, at the end of the day, don't you miss that from season 16? At the end of the day, he's the most loyal to Alex. And he wants to use the veto on her. But if Jason is really freaking out, he will use it on him. Again, I don't really think that's going to happen. But then again, we see here that Paul is questioning if he even wants to keep Alex this week. So Alex is saying, you know, it doesn't matter which one you use it on as long as you use it. All right. Meanwhile, we've got Josh and Christmas talking in the HOH room. And Josh is complaining again that he's going to get all the heat for what's going down this week. And he's afraid that if Alex or Jason win the next HOH, they're going to gun for him. He He says Paul's playing all angles right now and he's only protecting himself. Excuse me. And that's not cool. So he's, you know, he's saying all this stuff and he's making good points, but then he's like, that's what we're gonna do. I'll prepare myself. You know, I'm totally dedicated to this team. Okay, so then Josh is saying it would be great for all of us if Paul just didn't use the veto, because then we would all have the blood on our hands. It would be more fair. So he's also saying, like, if he doesn't want to do that, he could at least vote out Jason with me and Raven, you know, and then you wouldn't have to break the tie, and it would be a lot better for everybody. So then Christmas is like, this is so sad. Christmas is like, I feel really uncomfortable right now because it sounds like you don't trust Paul. And it took forever for Josh to get this out of Christmas, because the idea of even saying that somebody doesn't trust Paul was like freaking leaving her shook. So he was just like, just tell me what you're thinking. It took forever. So Josh is like, oh, I trust Paul 110%. Not mathematically possible. But he's saying this strategy only benefits Paul, and that's not okay. We're a group here. So Christmas is like, you know what? We need to talk about this with Paul. I don't want us attacking each other. So guess what? Perfect timing. Paul shows up in the HOH room, and guess what? Josh does not speak his mind. So they're talking about who should go this week. It seems like they still can't really decide who it's going to be. And Christmas brings up, like, if you don't use the veto, we'll have more time to decide between Jason and Alex. And Paul's like, yeah, but if I don't use it, we're going to lose whichever one of them stays. You know, there's still a chance that I could pull more likely Alex in than Jason, and we'll still be okay next week. So then a little while later, Paul and Christmas are alone in the HOH room. And it seems like at this point, Paul is leaning towards keeping Alex again. He's shifted back to his original plan. He's saying, I can pretty much make sure Alex is not going to go after you or Josh if she stays in this house. So he's like, yeah, I could convince her to go after Kevin or Raven, or just get her to throw the HOH competition entirely, which I would not be surprised if she did that, because she's already talking about it. I mean, of course, I think she's going to be nervous when they go ahead and vote out Jason, but there is still a chance that she'll throw it. So Paul is still pushing for the split vote. Christmas is like, I want you to explain to me step by step how this is going to benefit us. So he's saying, like, I need Alex close to me to make sure that you guys are safe, blah, blah, blah. It's the same stuff we've heard, but at this point, she's seeming receptive to it. Okay, so then Kevin and Paul have a really quick chat in the money bedroom. Paul is like, don't talk and keep your cool. And then he says, you don't have to talk to me again for the rest of the week. Wow, so they fist bump and that's it. Oh, it's so sad because Kevin asked him to play pool and he said, not tonight, buddy. It was just really sad. Every time they show Kevin just sitting alone in his bed like this, it makes me so sad. Okay, so then Paul was putting in the work last night. He talked to Jason in the backyard, and he's trying to calm him down. He's like, dude, I'm using the veto on one of you guys. Relax. So he's like, Alex was supposed to throw that veto to me so that we could all be safe, so she did a good job, because Paul is still playing dumb, acting like he thought Christmas could potentially backdoor him this week, acting like he didn't know Christmas's plan all along. So Jason is like, you know what, I'm fine if you use the veto on Alex. I know that we have the votes. I trust that. And he says, if I can't trust you two, meaning Paul and Alex, I'll just walk out into traffic. Well, I don't think you should say that, because you might be walking into traffic on Thursday. So then the house guests last night were talking about all of Raven's stories and lies again. They're just getting to that point where they can't take it. So there was a new one. Raven is now saying that she had a relative on the Titanic. I mean, it could be true, I don't know, but she couldn't remember their name or anything. And then Alex is like, yeah, but like the Titanic sunk in the 1940s, so that was like 70-something years ago. Okay, first of all, it sunk in 1912. And second, nobody corrected this. They all went along with it. They were like, yeah, that was her relative would have to be like in their 90s or something. Oh my god. Okay, so then other topics they covered. The inverted spine, her mom being struck by lightning, Raven saying she's an Olympic athlete. and her like rough kneecap syndrome. I don't know if some of these are like partially true or just completely made up, but I would love some sort of like clarification episode where we just do like fact checking, like it's a freaking election season and we can get some fact checking. That'd be great. But anyway, Paul is still pushing his plan to Josh. They were in the backyard on the stationary bikes, and Josh was like, I'm worried about all this heat being on me after the vote. So he came up with an idea. He's like, what if I tell Jason and Alex beforehand that I'm voting Jason out? I just tell him straight up, I think you're a good competitor, and, you know, I like you as a person, but you gotta go for my game. So Paul's like, yeah, I mean, if you want, that's fine. But then Paul's like, me and you need to have a fake fight. I hate fake fights. But he's saying that would make it easier for Paul to pull in Alex next week and potentially convince Alex to throw the HOH or go after Kevin instead of Josh or Christmas. So he's like, if I can convince Alex that it's me and her against everyone, that'll make it a lot easier. Okay, so Josh again is saying, I'm just concerned about the heat I'm gonna get. And Paul's like, you can handle it. You know, you already dealt with like Cody and Jessica, Mark, Elena, all of them. It'll be fine. He's saying, I need to stay cool with Alex so that I can protect all of us. So Josh is like, okay. But there was another late night chat with Christmas and Josh in the HOH room. Josh is still thinking that this plan benefits Paul the most, because it does. And Christmas agrees, like, yeah, this is a genius plan for Paul. He is set up perfectly for that with this, but at the same time, it's going to keep all of us safe. So she's saying Paul needs to maintain his relationship with Alex. So again, Christmas is squashing Josh's soul right now. So Christmas is like, we can't wreck this before the final 3. Do you want to play to secure jury votes, or do you want to play to win? Isn't that part of winning? You definitely should be thinking about jury votes. But she's saying she doesn't want Paul to even catch wind of any doubt. She doesn't want to blow this. So then, that was last night. Today, the house guests found some ash in the backyard, and they could see smoke from that big wildfire in LA. That's crazy. And then it was time for the have-not reveal. Just kidding. Have-nots are done for the season. Yay! Okay, remember last week when when Matt ignored all the have-not rules? Yeah, I do too. But anyway, Minnie's so excited! She doesn't want to be a have-not. So then Paul and Christmas had a little game chat over chess. And Paul's like, so is Josh's only concern with this plan that he's going to be taking all the heat? And he's saying, like, he could use, or not use the veto if it's going to bother him that much. And Christmas is downplaying it. She's like, no, I calmed him down. It's fine. So she is, again, squashing this. It's insane. So we're gonna leave it there for now. Tomorrow should be the power veto ceremony. I'm assuming, even though it's a holiday, they're probably still going to do it tomorrow. But yeah, let me know what you guys think right now. As of right now, Paul will be using the veto on Alex, and Kevin will be going up, but Jason is still the target. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and until tomorrow, much love.